is you need to go to A plus students.com. Okay. Once you are at the website, what you need to do is you need to select math as your subject. For this lesson, we are doing maths. Then you need to select your grade level. Your grade is grade 8. Okay. Once we are done with that, we need to go to the topic. Okay. The topic for today is, I'll write down the topic. The topic for today is data and graph. Data and graph. Okay. The chapter number is 24. Chapter number is 24. And the lesson that we'll be doing today is interpret means understand line plots. Okay. And the lesson number is 6. Lesson number is 6. Okay. So once we are on the website, we go to grade 8s. We go to math, we go to grade 8. Then we go to chapter number 24, that is data and graph. And in data and graph, we go into interpret line plots, right? So we have questions on the screen. You would have the same questions on your screen. Let's start off with the topic. Okay. I'll just copy the question and we will continue with the question. Okay. For question number 1, this is a question given to us. Okay. I'll just move it bigger so that it's readable for you. Okay. And this is the graph given to us. And let's align this so that it's more readable for us. Okay. Okay. So this is the question given to us. And this is the diagram that's given to us. The question number 1 says, I hope it's readable, or I'll just increase the size. Okay. And the question said, how many students took this? Okay. So this is the first question. Mr. Callahan, the English teacher, had his students track the number of books they read last month, right? So if we are looking at how many books did they read last month, so we need to study this graph for ourselves, okay? So what happens over here is it's given as the number of books read over here. 0 books were read by these many students. One book was read by these many students. 2 were read by these many, and 3 so on, right? 0 books, 1 book, 2 books, and 3 books, right? So the question they're asking us is, how many students read exactly 1 book last month? Exactly 1. Okay. So what we do is we count the number of crosses over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? There are 6 crosses over here. That means books read, 1 book was read by 6 students. 6. So we can say 6 students read exactly 1 book. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to look at the graph and we need to see and we need to count the number of crosses over here so that we will know the exact answer. Okay. It looks easy. It is easy. Let's move on to the next one and let's see what we can do with the next one. Okay. I'll just copy the next question so that it's on your screen. Okay, any questions for now? Okay, no questions. Let's continue. Okay, if this is the next question we have, I'll move on to the next question over here. I'll increase the size so that it is easier for us to. Okay. The question says Gavin records the number of pairs of sandals, right? He's recording the number of pairs of sandal owned by each student of a class or classmate. So what we need to do is we need to look at the graph and see what can be done over here and what they are asking us to do. This was question number 2. Gavin records the number of pair of sandals owned by each of his classmates. That means these many students owned 0 sandal, these many students owned 1 sandal, these many students owned these sandals, and so on, right? So the minimum number of sandals are 0 sandals, they have no sandals, and the maximum number of sandals is 5 sandals they can have, right? So let's look at the question. How many students own fewer than 2 pairs of sandal, right? Less than 2 pairs. It could not be 2 pairs, right? So what we need to see is if we need to find a value that is less than 2, then it cannot be 2. We cannot consider 2 pairs, right? So we need to consider the value that is less than 2. So we need to take 1 pair or 0 pairs. So let's count them. For 0 pairs, it was 1, 2, 3, and 4. There were 4 students who owned 0 pairs. And how many students owned 1 pair? It's just 1. So that means this is 4 plus 1, that is 5 students owned fewer than 2 pairs of sandals. Okay. So in this question, what we need to see is if the questions would have said 2 or less, then 2 would be included. But they said only fewer than 2. So only the numbers that are fewer than 2 would be included. Okay. Do we have any question on this? Okay, good. Let's move on. Let's see. Okay. The next one we have is, I'll copy the question so that it's on our screen and we can understand it better. Okay. The next question we have is this. I'll just align it so that, sorry. I'll try to align this so that it's readable for us. Okay. This is our graph. And this would be the question that's given to us. Let's just keep it down here and increase the size so that it is readable for you. Okay. The next question says, the question number 3 says that a grocery store chain tracked the number of trips people made to its store, right? How many people were coming to the store on a regular basis, right? They could come for, some people might not show up, not even a single day. Some people can show up one day, right? So let's see over here in the question. They say the number of trips would be 1 trip, these many people. The people who did 2 trips were these many, 3 trips, 4 trips, 5, 6, and 6 trips. So the maximum number of trips people did was 6 in the week, right? So the question is asking us how many people went to the grocery store more than 5 times. More than 5. Okay. So that means going once to the grocery store is less than 5. Going twice to the store is less than 5. 3 is also less than 5. 4 is less than 5. 5 cannot be included because we are looking at more. Our keyword is more than 5, right? more than 5 times, right? That means in this case, there is only one scenario which is more than 5. That is 6. Agreed? So let's count on the graph how many values are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? So there were 8 people who went. There were 8 people, okay, who went more than 5 times. 5 times, okay. If we agree on this, any questions regarding this? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next. The next question says, okay, I'll just copy this so that we are able to, okay, this is the next question. There we rate this as question number 4. Let's increase the size so that it is readable. Okay. Okay. Professor Shepard compiled the scores from the last quiz, right? The question is saying that a teacher is compiling the results, okay? And the grade is given. That means the score of 5, these many people had 6. 6 score was by this number of people. 7, that is one person got 7 marks, right? So moving on to the question, which score did the fewest student receive? Very simple, right? We do not have to count each and every one. We need to see which score has the minimum number of markings on it. So we can say, see, if we compare this, this had 3 students had a score of 8, right? But only a single student had a score of 7, right? So what we can say is, what score? What is which score did the fewest students receive? They received a score 7, right? We just need to tell them what was the score there was there. Okay, moving on to the next. Let's highlight this so that we remember how we found this out. Score 7 had only one student in it. Okay. Okay, this was question number 4. We move on to question number 5. Let's copy the question and let's see what needs to be done here. Okay, just a minute, please. I'll just copy the question. Okay, done copying. How many people scored less than 9? This is the question they're asking us. This is the grid that is given to us. Okay. Okay. Number of courses in a week. Ava tracked the TV game. Scores on a game. Okay. Let's enlarge this and then let's read this and what is being asked of us. Okay. This question says, the question number 5 says, convinced that she could do, okay, as well as a competitor. Ava tracked the scores on a TV game. Okay, game show. Over the course of a week, she did the scores for a week. So we saw that 5 was scored by these many people, right? 5 was scored by 2 people. 6 was scored by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 was scored by 6 people, right? And so on, we can relate to the graph. Let's see what they exactly are asking us from the question. How many people scored at least 9? See, if it's a 10-mark question exam in your class, right? So at least 9 means people who got the 9 marks. If I am your teacher, I say, oh, whoever got 9 marks, raise your hands. So some of the students will raise their hand. If I say, who who are the students who got 9 or more than 9, right? That means the least is 9. It could be more than 9 as well, right? So we need to take at least means included. The word at least means over here is it's included. Okay. And included and greater values also. Okay. Included is 9. Included is 9 and the greater values than 9. So let's see over here on this. What we need to take is 9 and the greater values than 9. But in case of 9, there was no crosses. That means there were 0 students who got 9 marks, right? But for the 10, how many students got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? So we can say that 9 score was by 0 students and 10 score was by 10 students. So we need to add the number of students. That means total 10 students scored at least 9, right? There were 10 students who scored at least 9. Agreed? Let's move on to the next one. So the next question says, let me just copy so that question this was question number 5. Let's go on to question number 6. With question number 6, let me just get the question. Okay. The question is about pictures and albums. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this, and let's minimize this, and let's put this over here. Okay, the question says that this is question number 6. While compiling pictures of photos for an album, Isaac noted the number of photos taken by he noted the number of pictures of photographs taken by each of his friends and family, right? So none of the pictures were taken by one person. There is one person who did not take any picture, right? Sorry, photographs taken. There is one person who did not take any pictures. There were 4 people who took one picture. We need to look at this, which statement is given over here, right? So the question is asking is how many people are there in all? They're asking us how many people are there in his friends and family, right? So can we count? This was 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was 4. This was 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That means one person did not take any pictures. 4 people took one picture. 2 people took 2 pictures. 6 people took 3 pictures. And 8 people took 4 pictures. If we need to find the total, so can we say 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 8? So we can say that 2 plus 8 is 10 and 4 plus 6 is 10 also. So we can write this as 1 plus 10 plus 10. That means 21 people altogether, right? That means there are 21 people altogether. Okay. Let's have the next question. In the next question, what we can do is, let's get the question on the screen first. Okay. It's about a math assignment. Oh, good. Let's see what they are asking us to do in the math assignment. Okay. It's a spinning wheel and sorry, it's a spinning wheel and we need to find some answers. Let's just put this over here and bring it down so that it is readable for us. Okay, great. So the question we have over here in question number 7 says, for a math assignment, students noted the number of times a wheel landed on the numbers 0 till 5, right? 0 through 5. They have a wheel, they are spinning the wheel, and they're noting down the number. So in the diagram, what we can see is they're spinning the wheel numbered 0 to 5. So let's suppose this is a wheel. The wheel has the numbers 0 to 5, right? So let's break this. Let's break this. Sorry. Let's break it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibilities, right? So what we do is we break it over here. We break it down over here. And how many would be 1, 2, and we break it down over here. So we can say the numbers were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if this is a spinner, right? So once they spin the spinner, the 0 came how many times? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times 0 came out. 1 came how many times? 1, 2, and 3, right? So let's see what are they asking us in the question. Which number was spun the most time? Like you spin the spinner, and what was the maximum number of repetitions? The what we can do is we see which tower is the highest tower over here. So we can see that the tower for 3 is the highest. That means 3 came the maximum number of times. 1, 2, and we count 3, 4, and this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? That means 3 was spun 10 times. So we can say 3 was spun most time, right? Most number of times or most times, right? It has the most, it was most repeated number. Okay. So if you're done with this, if we have an understanding, do we have any question regarding this? If there is any question, please write it down so that we may be able to answer it. Okay, good. You have a good understanding. Let's move on to the next. Okay, the next question says a researcher is letters, right? Research and letters they have. Let me just copy the question on the screen. Okay. This would be the requirement they have. This is the grid they have. And let's get it down. Okay. Let's copy this so that it is more readable. Okay. So if this is the question we have, this is, let's suppose, question number 8, yeah? Because the previous one was 7, right? A researcher asked people how many letters they had written in the past year, right? And recorded the results. So they're saying how many people wrote exactly 5 letters, right? 5, they're asking. Exactly is means not less than 5, not greater than 5, exact 5 letters. So on the bottom, we can say these are the number of letters written. So can we find the 5? Can we count the number of letters? 5 letters, that means we look at this 5, there were 5 letters written and we count them 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means there were four people. There were four people who wrote exactly 5 letters. Okay. So if we have a good understanding, let's see. Let's look at the next question we have. Okay. The next question says, let me just copy the question. Okay. Question number 9 says this. Okay. I'll just arrange them so that we have more space. Okay. Okay. Mr. Pennington, the marine biologist or the biology teacher, asked his students how many times they went to the beach last summer. Okay. This is related to going to the beach. How many times they went to the beach last summer. So the grid is given to us. And the question they're asking is, how many students went to the beach fewer than 2 times, right? That means less than 2 times. So how many students were there who went exactly 2 times? There were one student, right? And everything else is less than two. That means we need to find these number of students who went to the beach, right? Less than two means either they went one time or they did not go. So let's count. This is 1, 2, and 3. And this is 1. The number of students who went one time would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Agreed? That means fewer than 2 means less than 2. That means 3 plus 10, that is 13 students went to the beach fewer than 2 times. Okay. If this is clear, let's try some more questions. And we will try a few questions from the test so that you have an understanding how to complete the test. Okay. Okay. Let's do one more. Then we will go to the test. Okay. The question is related. When we click onto the next, we have the new question. And this question is related to a fashion magazine, right? So you would have it with you also. Okay, if this is a question given to us, okay, and they're asking this from us, and this is the information that is given to us. Let's say this is question number 10. A fashion magazine poll asked how many writers, right? Oh, sorry, how many winter hats each reader owns? Okay, winter hats. Okay, how many, and the question is how many readers are there in all? That means we need to find all the values, right? So it says number of winter hats owned. 0 hats were owned by how many people? They were owned by 2 people. 2 people owned, they did not own a hat, or the other way around, right? Then 1 hat was owned by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 9 people owned 1 winter hat. Two two hats were owned by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, you do not have to mark them again. You can simply count them also. This would be 1. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to find how in all. That means we need to add 2 plus 9. 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 10 is 29, plus 4. What is 29 plus 4? That is 33 readers. Okay? There are 33 people because they are asking their readers, right? But if I would change the question, if I add something else to the question, if I would add another part to the question and I say, how many readers owned more than two winter hats, right? So that means more than two means they could have three hats, or they can have four hats, or they can have five hats, right? So let's look at these values. What are the values over here? In order to find this, what we can say is more than two means it could be three, it could be four, or it could be five, right? Agreed? So we simply add them. Three hats were owned by one person, four hats were owned by 10 people, and five hats were owned by this. So we can say 15 readers owned more than two hats, right? So they could be same question, same given data can have different aspects to it, right? They can ask us different things from it. Okay, let's try doing some questions from the test. I click on the test and let's start. Let's do a few questions from here. Okay, so we're done with this. Let's look at the test. I'll just put the heading for the test so that later on also if you need to revise, you can always see we are starting our test over here. Okay, the first question from the test, we'll take down the first question. And the first question is, I'll just copy the complete question because we need the MCQ answers as well. I'll just arrange it. Okay. If we do this, this is a question given to us. These are the two options that we have. And this is what they're asking us. Okay. And this is the question given to us, right? Let's just post it there and bring it down. Okay. So the question number one from the test says, a researcher asked people how many letters they had written in the past and recorded the result, right? It's very similar to question to what we did, okay? We have two options, option A and option B. You need to answer which option is correct. We do not care about whether it's 4 or whether it's 5. We need to care about which option is correct. Once we have the answer, then we will look into the options where the answer is exactly. Okay. So the question is saying that uh, these are writing letters. How many people wrote exactly? Exactly 5 letters, right? Let's try to find exactly 5 letters. That means this is exact 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 letters were written by 4 people, right? So when 5 letters were written by 4 people, so now we need to go to the option and see where is the 4 people as an option. So option A is 4 and option B is 5. So we click on to option A. On your screen, you'll click onto option A and it would show you if it's correct or incorrect, right? Then we have the new question. The next question says, 1 minute, please. Let's just copy this so that we have it on our screen. This is the next question we have. I'll just align this. This is what's given to us. Okay. And let's align this as well. Okay. For a study, numerical psychology, okay, It's a study about people and their behaviors. Okay, so in this study, people were polled about, they were asked about which number between 1 and 5 they like the most, right? Right? So these are the answers. So some people said between 1 and 5, some people said like we like number 1 more than number 2, some said number 4 we like more, right? So how many people said they like 5? Because we do not see any mark, that means no one said they like 5, right? So let's look at the question and what are they asking us. The question is asking us how many people said a number greater than 3. Greater than 3 means it could be 4 or it could be 5. 5 was 0 already because no one selected 5. But for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? That means there were 10 people over here. So can we say 4's favorite number was 10 people and 5 was by 0. That means that there are total 10 people, right? Who selected number greater than 3. So selecting a number greater than 3 means we are selecting everything on the right side of 3. Greater than 3. So what should be our answer? Which option? Option A or option B? Since it's 10 people over here, that means option B is the correct answer. And we will click on the correct answer, right? And it will show us whether our answer is correct or incorrect, okay? Moving on further, we have the new question, question number 3. And the question number 3 states that, just a minute, I'll just get it on the screen so that you can see it clearly. Okay. This is question number 3 from the test. Okay. And the question number 3 is asking us this question that, okay. Okay. The students in Mr. Jacob's class recorded the number of siblings each has, right? The question is about the number of siblings. So what we can see over here is 0 people. There were people. How many people had 0 siblings? We count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 people did not have any siblings. They were the only child, right? How many people had 1 sibling? 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 people had 1 sibling. Having 2 siblings means one person had 2 siblings, and 3 would be mean 3 siblings was 4 people had 3 siblings, right? Let's make a question over here. How many, let's suppose if we would say, okay, how many, or what is the total number of siblings? Find the total number of siblings altogether, right? If we need to find the total number of siblings, can we say that we can add 7 plus 9 is 16 plus 1 is 17. 17 plus 4 should be, this is option A, and option B, that should be equal to 21. So we mark option A because it equals to 21. Okay. Let's try one more question and see what we can do. The next question from the test is question number 4. And the question number 4 states that, let's copy this so that we have the question on our screen. A fashion magazine, okay, good, has this question. I'll just copy this so that we have the value question over here, 33, 34 readers. So they are basically asking us how many readers are there in total in all. Okay, we did a question with winter hats already, but in this question, what they are asking us is they have changed the requirement of the question. Like we can ask several things from a question. So in question number 4, we've been asked a fashion magazine poll asked how many winter hats each reader owns, right? So we can count these. One, no hats were owned by 2 people. One hat was owned by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You don't have to do this working unless and until you have read this question. I'm just trying to show you what we need to do. Okay, how many readers are there in all together? But if they're asking us in all together, now we have to do everything because we need all the people with number of hats, right? So 2 hats were by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 3 hats were owned by 1 person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were 10 people who owned 5 hats, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 people who owned 5 hats. That means if we need to find all together, we write 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 7 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 19 plus 10 is 19 plus 10 is 29 plus 4. Can anyone give me an answer? Can you give me an answer to this? Okay. Okay. Can you please give me an answer? What is the total? I'll read. I'll wait for you people to answer. Okay. So that was 2 plus 9 plus 7 plus 1 plus 10 plus 4, right? Is it option A or option B? Can anyone give me the answer? Yes, the answer is when we add them together, answer comes out to be 33. Since the answer is 33, we have to look at the options, option A or option B. Since option B says 34, that's not our requirement. Option A, we click on option A and we will find the answer. Okay. So let's move on to the next question and let's see. Okay, just a second, please. I need to go back. 24. Okay. Okay. I'm just clicking on to the test. Another question, we'll pick it up and let's see what can we do over here. Okay. Question number 5. Okay, let's do another question and let's say, okay. Let me copy the question, but I'll do the question on your screen. We can say that if this is the next question we have, let's separate this and let's make some space for our question. Okay, how many students had 2 pairs of sandals? Okay, they are asking us about specific number of sandals in this case, right? They don't want us for everything. So we do not have to do excess working. Let's read the question first. Gavin records the number of pairs of sandal owned by each of his classmates, right? This would be option A. This is option B. So let's suppose if we say how many students own fewer than 2 pairs. Fewer than 2 pairs means they can either have 0 pairs or they can have 1 pair. They cannot have 2 pairs because we are looking at a number that is less than 2. So let's count these values over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There were 4 friends or 4 classmates had 0 pairs, right? There were 4. And how many had 1 pair? There was 1 student which had 1 pair. That means that fewer than 2 would mean 4 plus 1 and the total is 5. Agreed? Do we agree on this? Right? That means out of these 2 options, which option should be the correct? Can anyone give me the answer? Option A or option B? Yes, 5 is option A. So we go with option number A. That is our answer. So let's click on this option and see whether the answer is correct or incorrect, right? If it's correct, it would show, right? So we have done 5 questions from the test. Remaining 15 are left. Please do the questions and practice. And if you have any problems with the question, you can always go back and see this video and clear your concepts, right? Okay, take care. Best of luck. Bye.